Hello everyone, this is Rabbi Yitzchak Ruderman. I wanted to share with you a few thoughts about the man who is considered to be the greatest leader of the Jewish people, the children of Israel. His name is Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses. Now there's a lot of unusual facets and things about Moses. First of all, he was born to the children of Israel in the tribe of Levi, the Levites. But because the Pharaoh of the time had issued a decree to kill all the Jewish boys, his mother saved Moses as an infant and put him into a little raft to float on the Nile River. And he was discovered by none other than the daughter of Pharaoh. And she took him as a stepson and raised him right there in the palace of Pharaoh, until one day, the Torah says, he went out and he saw an Egyptian hitting a Jew, hitting an Israelite, and he killed that Egyptian. And when that was found out by the authorities in Egypt, they reported it to Pharaoh, and he expelled Moshe, and Moshe went and lived in the land of Midian, where he married the daughter of Jethro. In the interim, when Moshe was younger than that, he had also spent time in Ethiopia, ruling the people of Abyssinia, of Ethiopia. And in Midian, which is in the Sinai Peninsula, in that area, he had an encounter with a burning bush, the Torah says, and God gave him his mandate, his mission, to take out the Jewish people. So this is very unusual. I mean, here we have the leader of the Jewish people, not raised among the Jews. Why is that? Why would God want to choose a Jewish leader who's not raised among the Jewish people, who's married to a Midianite woman, who had been a king in Ethiopia, according to the Midrashim? So this is a very unusual thing. Furthermore, if you look at the arc of Moses' life, you see towards the end, even though he led the children of Israel out of Egypt, God did not allow him to enter the promised land of Israel. Why is that? If he was the great liberator of the Jews and the conqueror of the Egyptians, why wouldn't God reward him with allowing him to enter the land of Israel? So this is another mystery about Moshe Rabbeinu. In addition to which, when the Jewish people, the children of Israel, left Egypt, Moses decided to take along millions of Egyptians who decided to join with the Jewish people. They were called the Erev Rav. Now this Erev Rav would eventually cause a lot of problems for the Jewish people, because they influenced the Jews, the children of Israel, to worship a golden calf, for which they were punished. So why would God choose such a leader who in turn did such an independent thing and took out with him millions of Egyptians? In addition to which, as I said, he was raised by Bat Paro, the daughter of Paro, whose name was Batya. Interestingly, her name is Bat Yag, daughter of God, and not daughter of Pharaoh. And she was one of those that came out of Egypt with the mixed multitude. So, very strange leader, and there's a lot to think about as to why that is actually so. Now, here's another thing to think about when it comes to Moses, and that is that he was the one who received the 10 Commandments from God. God chose him to go up Mount Sinai in the wilderness of Sinai and receive the Torah from God. And it says that Moses was so high spiritually that he spoke to God directly, peh el peh, mouth to mouth, making him the greatest prophet that ever lived. Not only the greatest prophet among the Jews, but the greatest prophet who ever lived. So much so that God commanded him to separate from his wife, Tzipporah, which no other prophet ever did. So why would God inflict such a situation on the relationship between Moses and his wife, that from the time Moses connected with God as his prophet, Moses was to separate from his wife and not live with her conjugally as a man, as a husband and a wife. So that's another puzzle about Moshe Rabbeinu. Interestingly, he's called Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses our rabbi, our teacher, not Moses our king, not Moses our leader, but Moses our rabbi, our teacher. And as I was saying, he received the Torah from God at Mount Sinai, and he became the one who wrote down the Torah. God dictated the Torah, meaning the 5 books of the Torah: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, Bereshit, Shemot, Vayikra, Bamidbar, and Dvarim in Hebrew. And God dictated the words of the Torah to Moses, and Moses was the scribe who wrote down the words, even passages and mentions of Moses himself in the first and second and third person. Moses wrote down whatever God told him to write down, and this is what we have as the Torah today, the Bible, in a scroll, also called a Chumash. The Greeks called it a Septuagint, and the Torah is read in Shabbat on Shabbat in 50. It's divided into 54 portions, and Moshe was the author. All Torahs are the same. Whichever synagogue you go to, you'll see that Moshe Rabbeinu's Torah is the exact same Torah that we have in every single synagogue. So just some questions about Moshe Rabbeinu for you to think about, that he was not raised among the Jewish people. He was not allowed to go into the land of Israel. He married a non-Jewish woman, which she subsequently converted, obviously, but he married a woman from Midian, Tzipporah. His father-in-law was Yitro, a Midianite leader, and this is the man who God chose to lead the Jews out of Egypt, to confront Pharaoh, to give the Torah, give via first the 10 Commandments, and then the writing down of the Torah, and he becomes the greatest prophet that the Jewish people and the children of Israel and the world ever had, and therefore this makes him the greatest leader of the Jews and of the children of Israel and of the world really who ever lived. So you need to remember that, especially when we have other religions that claim their leaders were the greatest prophets and leaders and whatever else they say about them. But a Jewish person needs to know who their greatest leader was. Thank you so much.